Hello and welcome back to Sprite Guard plays Starseed Pilgrim. Let's give this level a shot. It's a pretty interesting level with some neat mechanics. So this one we have longer straightaways, I believe, and much more complicated random ones that grow from multiple places. And that is actually going to create some interesting structures for us to work around. Now, I think what I want to do with this one is actually put it there and get rid of some of that straightaway, because the straightaway is one of the fastest to get taken up by the void. So I'm going to wait till this is almost too tall to jump on, and then I'm going to harvest it. In fact, I wonder, I have this jump pad. That could let me get a couple extras of these, but I want to be very careful about watching the darkness, because the seeds are actually the fastest to corrupt. And so I don't want to even run the risk of that. So now I'm going to use this ice to fill up here, and that will slow down the void a little bit. And then we can harvest these up and start some more growing in. And then these are the slowest, these ones that are growing right here. So I want to keep as many of them as possible, and hopefully they will grow out. Well, I was hoping they'd grow out a little bit further than that, but that at least is a platform from which we can continue to build. So I need to be watchful of both the darkness and my jump height so that I can harvest the seeds to my left before something happens to prevent me from doing that. This ice will slow down the darkness as it proceeds through that straightaway. The darkness is catching up, so I'm going to harvest all of these quickly and get out of the way. And then just keep building to the right. So we have a key here, and we could head straight to that key, but that would be... well, it would be good. It would be something to do. It would be probably something fairly successful to do. But my concern is that we have a pretty good engine going, and I don't want to throw that away by connecting up and maybe letting the darkness catch up to us because it's coming at us from both sides. So part of me wants to try and go for a door, but part of me is seeing that the darkness is still very, very close to me. And so part of me is saying, just get out of here while you can and take all of these seeds. We've got so many seeds coming up if we can get out of this level. And so the thing to do might actually be to put a random one here, and that will go downwards. And it didn't go down in the way that I wanted it to, so I'm actually going to have to put this here and throw away a little bit of what I've gained. So now what I can do is tunnel down this way, and this will let me connect up here, and that should connect very nicely with the darkness. Now, I didn't leave myself a path back up. That was a mistake, because now it's going to be much more difficult to get out of here, if I even can get out of here, because I would like to still take advantage. I forgot that that was something that happened. So now I've actually created a pretty bad situation for myself, because I can now not guarantee that I will be able to get out of the void once it catches up to me. So I need to once again stay as far ahead of the darkness as I can and just put all of my resources into getting to another key. Because if I don't make it to a key, then nothing else matters. and this kind of block, and then this kind of block, those will help to slow down the darkness a little bit. Not a lot, but maybe enough. And what I can do is plant that there, and that will grow somewhat slowly, but the stuff I'm standing on is the slowest, so hopefully either that one will grow to meet the key, or I'll be able to plant this one in it. And it looks like I'm going to have to plant this one in it. Oh! Ah, that was a mistake. Alright, so that ended up spoiling all of that. I felt like we really had something good going, and then I made a couple of really critical mistakes that ended up making it so that we came away from that empty-handed. So I think what I'm going to do now is actually go back to the starting area and see if I can push for, I guess, anything could be a victory here. If we get more seeds, then we can build out the overworld more. And so this is actually a trick that I picked up from Starseed Observatory, is planting those random ones in the middle of a platform so that they grow downwards, and that makes it easier to harvest seeds. So I'm going to let one of these grow in. Let's see. Actually, I think what I need to do is plant that there, and that will head off to the right. So I'm thinking about the strategy of this and trying to figure out what the best way to approach this is. Now, if I fill this in with the slime stuff, that will make the darkness move a little bit more slowly, but also I now have to be a little bit careful about how I jump to get to the top of the other seed tower. So, just barely made it there, and I'm going to harvest these because I won't be able to harvest them at any other point. I put some of those slow ones back there. They didn't grow in the directions I'd hoped, but they will at least slow the darkness down a little bit. So we have a jump pad, some seeds, and then another straight off to the right one coming, so we can just keep on heading to the right, and then we actually have more seeds. Something else that I picked up from Starseed Observatory is staggering those so that they make a staircase for each other. Now, the mistake that I made there, because I wasn't really paying attention to my seed queue, is that I now have nowhere to plant that usefully. But I want to keep moving to the right, so I just had to throw that one away. And I think ultimately it's not too big of a problem that I had to do that. Now we have one of the exploding ones, which I will put out there, set off, and it will override. Basically, the only kind of tiles it will override are the kind that are worse than the blocks it will be covering them with. It will cover them with red blocks, which are the fastest except for seed blocks, and the straight line blocks. So I will put this here just as a little bit of a precaution. That might get covered, but it doesn't much matter if it does. Okay, so that's not going to matter actually for anything. Now I want to drop this ice down where it will slow the darkness. And I think the place where it will slow the darkness most is right there. It will override some gray tiles, which are actually even worse than orange tiles. Now I've made a mistake. Okay, can I get up here? Yes. I moved quickly enough that I could get up there. And now I can fill in a lot of this area with these slimes, which will again, slow down the darkness. So we're staying ahead of the curve. We can connect up with a key, but not in a way that we'll actually be able to get the key later on. So I think I want to put this one still going off to the right like this. And maybe what I want to do is actually put a seed-growing one to connect up there. But we won't actually be able to get to it either way, so that's actually probably not what we want to do. I'm thinking about how I want to actually get to these keys, because so far I haven't actually seen any that I have a really good plan for getting to them and being able to get out the door with them. I could use a bubble to get one if I put, for instance, if I put one growing straight up like here, which would, let's see, I would have to put this one here to do that. And then I could get that by using bubbles. Well, I'm not very good at using bubbles, and that didn't connect up. Which means I can put it there, and that will eventually connect, but the darkness might get there first. So, put some ice there to try and slow it down. And now we'll harvest these and set off this exploding one. And just keep heading out to the right. So, the darkness is going to really speed up pretty soon. And we have another exploding one coming along. Alright. So, I think we will put that here. And probably just leave it and let it do its own thing. That might push the darkness back a little bit. It certainly won't hamper me in any way. And so now we're getting a good set of seeds coming up that might allow us to reach a couple of these keys up here. So if we can get connected with 3 of them, then we won't have a great chance at connecting to a door, because I haven't seen a door yet. I don't know that we'll ever encounter a door. But it's something that we can at least attempt. And so I'm thinking about the best way to continue traveling, and I think it's actually to put this one here, have it grow out to the right like that, and that will connect up there. Now, worst case scenario is just we get a key, we get out of here. And it looks like that's what's going to happen. Yeah, we did not get anything useful there. And in fact, we did not even get anything that would be useful for connecting up with a 3rd key. So I'm just going to leave, and we're going to take that key. We might actually need a bubble to get out of here. Let's see, we made it, okay. So that was pretty productive. And I feel like I'm enough in control of the situation that I can start planning things a little bit better. I think that I'm still a long way from being able to actually connect up with a door, but that's something to keep in mind. So what we can do now, and this episode is going on a little bit long, but the next thing that we'll be able to do is build out the overworld a little bit more. And so that's what I'm going to do in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.